same as Monica, but I just didn't feel like I had the time to do anything, I don't know, with the business, I guess. I just like to work out a lot, and I was using Insanity especially. I'm like a Sean T lover. I heart him. Yeah, and so now I recently have just moved. Is this still on? Suddenly my screen went blank.
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just moved up north to Wisconsin to be closer to family. So I quit my teaching and coaching job. So I'm kind of in a little bit of a life transition, and I still love Beachbody programs. And so Monica and I obviously kept in touch. And so I was like, you know what, let's do this. Let's rock it. So I decided to hop on board, and I'm so glad I did. And here I am.
So tell us a little bit about, so Allie has a huge background. She was a former head soccer coach and college player. So she has a really strong background in health and fitness and nutrition, and she clearly has a love for that. So she's in a little bit of a different boat. Typically, most new coaches, I don't have them start like pages because it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and quite honestly, a lot of money. And so in the beginning, I don't like my new coaches to do that. But Allie has been one that has just kind of really jumped in. She was in a little bit of a different place and went ahead and went straight forward with the like page. And I have to say it's been super great because she's like constantly posting videos and like recipes, and she's got all these, like, she has clean eating down. She's had it down for years. So just tell us a little bit about kind of like what your thought process is, what you've been emulating, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I love it. It's so much fun to be able to do it, but I have to say that I'm not very good about being consistent with my posts and doing like as many as I should be doing. And so I totally get why you said that might not be the best idea at first, but part of my hesitation with not doing it is that I didn't want to bombard my personal Facebook page with like Beachbody stuff or whatever, but I'm starting to see that obviously a lot of the stuff that we post doesn't have to do with Beachbody anyway. And so, hindsight's always 20/20. I think that I still made a good decision in doing it because I'm just having a lot of fun with it, but I think it could be a lot better if I were very consistent with it. And I haven't spent any money promoting it or anything like that too. So, I mean, I only have 300 and some followers. It's not that many or whatever, but but I'm having fun with it, and it's just somewhere to start, and I'm just kind of, testing the water. So, but I'm really excited to be focusing a little bit more on here. And so I'm going to be a little more intentional with my posting. I still want to try like the scheduling of the posts using one of those apps and stuff. And I think that will help tenfold too. So yeah.
Well, my huge point that I wanted to make that you just touched on was that when Allie first started, she has because she is a former athlete, she has a lot of friends who are in competitor companies. And so, it's very hard, especially when you have that dynamic, because you don't want to offend anyone. And so she was super concerned with posting on her personal page. And so that was the main thing that I wanted her to see was that, yes, I'm telling you to post 3 to 4 times on Facebook, but it has absolutely nothing to do with Beachbody. But it also has everything to do with Beachbody because it's you. Like, you're just showing your life and who you are and what you do, but you're not shoving Beachbody down everybody's throat. Because that's not who you are. You want them to see that you're a real person, that you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a teacher, you're just whatever. It's just that you're constantly being seen in people's news feeds. So that was the biggest thing that I wanted to touch on was that she saw that and has kind of seen that that's exact. And I know she had no idea that that's where I was going with it, but it was.
Right.
And so it was the fact that I wanted her to see that if you see my Facebook page, yes, I may post a workout picture or I post a food picture, but I'm not, shoving Beachbody down people's throats. I'm just posting my normal everyday stuff. You see my kids 500 million times a day. It's just the idea that you're being consistent with it, which we're all working on. We're all works in progress. And so that, you're being seen on Facebook so that when you do post your hook post with, your challenge group or the coach sneak peek or whatever, then people see it. So, all right, girl, thanks for that. I appreciate putting you on the spot. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've already been recording. So we are going to be talking about how to get your spouse or your family on board. I know that I've had conversations with several coaches lately about, just really struggling with getting their significant other, or they've had family members go against them and kind of just real hesitant. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight with Leon and Jill Washington. But first, I'm going to go over some quick announcements. If I can get them up. Okay, so remember that we are doing, our Team Persevere 3-day refresh. We are going to do that the week of the 28th, so 3 days before Halloween, which I think is kind of awesome because that can hopefully help us push through all of the candy that our kids are going to be bringing home that we don't need.
That's not Halloween.
What? Oh, you're right. I don't know
End of October.
Whatever. Okay, so we can do our next one next month, right before Halloween. I'm getting ahead of myself. Don't let me wish the year away already. So, okay, so whatever. So end of September. But you want to make sure to remember to mention this to your prospects. Like we talked about last week, I know that it is obviously a little bit more expensive, but every time I've mentioned it and I say, hey, do you want to join? My coaches and I, we're going to do this 3-day refresh together. It's really great to kind of, jumpstart and just give you a clean slate to start off with. A couple of them have been like, yeah, definitely. And so then I've been able to bump them up to that Kickstart Challenge Pack. I've posted about it in all of our challenge groups. So if you're in there, make sure that you either tag your your challengers in that post, or reach out to them in a message and, ask them if they want to join us. So obviously it's the 15th of the month. Y'all know that one of our goals as a team is to try and hit Success Club by the end of the month. By the 15th of the month. So that way we can really start prepping for the next month. So where are you at right now? I want you to kind of take a look at yourself, look at what you've been doing. Are you pushing? Are you getting your power hour in every day? Are you being intentional with your time? And so if you're not, that's fine. We still got, 15 days left in the month. And so it's important that you remember to stay on track and have those goals set ahead. Also, for those of you that are in the Diamond Push group, make sure that you are getting your homework done. If you don't have yesterday's homework done, make sure to get that done by tomorrow. I believe that's all I had. I know I had one more, but I can't remember what it was, so I'm sure I'll remember by the end of the call. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Jill and Leon. And let me unmute Jill. Jill, can you unmute yourself? It won't let me unmute you. There you go.
Yep, it finally did.
Okay. Let me make you bigger so people can see you. Yeah. All right, go for it.
All right, hey guys, my name is Jill Washington. I am one of the Diamond coaches on the team. I am, I think, one of Monica's oldest coaches that's still standing. I previously worked as a bank manager until I was able to quit my full-time job and be a full-time Beachbody coach. I also own my own photography business, which keeps me pretty busy. And I have 3 little kids. We have a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old. Our middle child has a lot of health issues, so I'm sure most of you have seen us in and out of the hospital lately. So they keep us pretty busy.
And I am Leon Washington, obviously her husband. I am a school care specialist at a psych hospital for kids. I also play arena football in the springtime, and I also train athletes around our metropolitan area in speed and agility. She pretty much summed everything else up about this.
So today we just wanted to kind of talk to you about how to get your spouse on board. I was lucky enough to have a really supportive husband, but I know a lot of people do not have that luck. But I also have a lot of family members that are skeptics and don't really believe in the Beachbody thing and don't think that we'll be that successful with it. But we just kind of wanted to cover it with all of you in case some of you are going through the same thing. So I just kind of wanted to start with, how excited are you to be a Beachbody coach? I hope you all see the potential that you have, that the sky's the limit and there is no cap on what you can do as a Beachbody coach. Are you ready to set big goals and knock them out of the park? I know that we've set some really big goals for this year. We've met some of them, but we'll continue to push to reach even bigger ones. I hope, or you're all working under an amazing team of people that are pushing really hard to help you reach your goals. So if you all need help with anything, we are your support system. Also, as you get started, I know a lot of you are having a lot of great success and that you're super excited about all this, but then I know for some of you that changes. Then all of your positive vibes start to turn around, and your spouse or your family may not be as supportive as what you were hoping that they would be. Then the negativity starts to set in. I know some people, your husband gets mad because you're always on your phone. You start fighting all the time. I've heard of coaches who no longer go to bed together with their husband, that you feel like you're constantly working. You're missing out on quality time with your family because you're working so hard to be so successful in your business venture. And I know that it's so easy to not want to put your phone down because you're in the middle of talking to a challenger and they're so excited to get started and buy their challenge pack, and you just don't want to stop talking about it. But I'm here to tell you that it's okay to put your phone down. Also, what if your husband doesn't understand the big picture? That's usually one of the biggest problems. He thinks that it's just something that's going to be short term and probably a waste of your time. A lot of people also think that you're not going to be successful because, Beachbody is just a pyramid scheme. Luckily, I did not have that issue. I luckily had a very supportive husband. Many years ago, after we had our first daughter, we started P90X together. And then when I started as a Beachbody coach, we started T25 after we had our youngest son. And then when I decided to be a coach, he was really supportive. I talked about all the possibilities, but he didn't really ask too many questions, and he didn't really care as long as I was happy with what I was doing. And then I started talking about the possibility of being able to quit my full-time job. And then he finally kind of noticed that I was really serious about this business and that it wasn't just going to be a start one day and quit the next. Yeah, he thought I was really crazy. And then he even started to work with the business a little bit, but not until we went to Summit when he saw the big picture was when he actually was an active coach and really got into it. And he can tell you a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was my big wake-up call right there. The Summit. When we went to Summit, on our way there, I was like, okay, it's just another little convention. I didn't expect to see 25,000 people all about Beachbody and helping people in their fitness journeys. I was like, this is crazy. But like I told her, sorry, I'm gonna say a cuss word, but I told Jill, I was like, this shit is real. It was like, and I was like, okay, from there on out, after leaving Summit, hearing people's stories, like I'm not very familiar with the coach's name, but she was homeless when she kind of first started doing this in 2013, and then 2015 she was in the Millionaire Club in just 2 years. So I was like, okay, this is some real stuff. We can do this. So I jumped on board and got on track and been Success Club 10 the past couple of months.
So we just kind of wanted to share a few helpful tips that you can do to get your family or your spouse on board.
You want to learn more about the MLMs. Basically, a lot of people want to say, oh, this is a pyramid scheme, which is not. Beachbody, most pyramid schemes, you have somebody get people, and then the person at the top doesn't do anything, pretty much just sits back and collects money. Okay, with the Beachbody, we all working. We all grinding day to day. Our leader, Monica, she grinds. She's one of the hardest grinders I know. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't just about one person at the top and watch everybody else kind of just do the work for them.
So make sure that you have your family do research, or do the research with them. See what MLM businesses are, what they're all about, and what makes Beachbody different than a typical MLM or pyramid scheme business, because we are not that by any means. Also, if you don't know about what our cycle bonuses are, what Star Diamond bonus is, or what our 2-star second business center is, then make sure that you do your research as well, and then teach your family about it. Because like I said, the potential, there's no cap on the potential through Beachbody, and we have a lot of good things going on, and there's no stopping us when it comes to our business, and it's nothing like a typical MLM business.
Also, Beachbody has been given an A+ in the Better Business Bureau. Also, learning what you do as a beachside coach. Like I said, we are not just scrolling through Facebook.
So, I mean, show them that you have challenge groups, that while you're on Facebook talking to people, because you're talking to them about how your challenge group is going. Show them your different stuff that you have going on with your coaches, different messages with your customers, and just so that they know that you're not just playing around on Facebook and not doing anything. Sorry, Tegan just fell off the couch. Also, involve them in the process. Have your spouse be a test dummy. That's what I did with Leon at first. He kind of thought I was crazy when I said I wanted to do 21-day fix extreme, and that I wanted him to drink Shakeology regularly. But, you know, I made him do it, and I made him take before and after pictures just like I did. He thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever until we got done with the extreme, and he had some awesome results. So treat them like a challenger and help them through it. Encourage them along the way. Get them to see why you're so passionate about helping other people. Because if they have their own success, then they're gonna see why you like this business so much. Also, have your spouse come to a Super Saturday or Summit with you. Like Leon said, Summit was a turning point for him because he actually saw how successful people could be. He felt the passion and drive that people have and how important we are as coaches to Beachbody as a business in general. Like, I cannot even describe to you how amazing it was to be at Summit and see how important each and every one of us is to the company. Also, have them sit on a call with us. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. They can at least get to know your team a little bit, see what you're doing on your calls, and see that you are really bettering yourself.
Also, you know, when they see how the business works, like I did myself, then they understand why we are so passionate about it, why you are so passionate about it. Because at first I thought it was just a hobby, you know what I'm saying? Until when she actually quit her job and did Beachbody full time and has been making good money doing it, and changing lives at the same time, I was like, okay, this is really cool stuff. So tell your spouse, like I said, like she said, it doesn't hurt to give it a try, you know, and always involve them in it.
Also, one of the biggest things that helped us was we sat down and worked with each other to schedule out our power hours and what will work best for our whole family. So when I first started with Beachbody, I literally saw my husband for maybe an hour during the week and only on the weekends because of how our schedules worked. And so at that point, it didn't really affect us. But when he started working days again, we literally had to work our schedules out around our family and around our Beachbody. But I can tell you, I was picking my 10-year-old up from school yesterday, and we were talking about wanting to buy a house. And he was like, yeah, but I know that when you and Daddy get to be certain star diamond coaches, then we can make more money and we can have an even bigger house. So it's okay if we wait for a while. And just knowing that my 10-year-old knows anything about a star diamond coach was just proof to me that we're, you know, teaching our kids the right thing and letting them know that working hard will pay off in the end. And even if we struggle in the middle, it's really worth it because in the end, it's all going to be worth it. Also, do your finances together. Let them see what you're making and exactly how it's helping your family. Like Leon said, he didn't even pay that much attention to it until he started seeing my checks increasing and doubling, and his too. When he got his first check, I think it was $40 or $45 or something, and he thought it was the most amazing thing in the world because he made it just by having a conversation with somebody. So once they see how it's actually benefiting you and your family, then it does make a huge difference. Also, share your goals and how close you are. It's important that they see what you're working for. So again, my whole family knows what our goals are. We have them posted up throughout our house. We talk about it. We pray about it. Everyone in our house knows what we're working towards because if everyone's on board, it's going to make your life a lot easier. And plus, they can support you when they know that you're having a rough day. When we were in the hospital, Tristan was literally like, Mom, I know that I want you to sit here, but I know you need to go do some calls, so you can go in the other room and do your calls. I mean, what 6-year-old thinks about that? But that's because our kids know how important it is to us and to our future. The next one is family struggles. So same thing. I have a very skeptical family who literally is like, oh, you know, you're not going to be successful with Beachbody, whatever. but ask them to be your testimony. They may be skeptical, but if you get them to do the workouts or eat right, it may make a huge difference. I know my sister has been overweight for years, and I literally gave her my my 21-day fix program because I had extreme, and she lost 30 pounds just from doing one round of 21-day fix. So get them involved, and they'll like it a lot more. Also, yeah, Leon's dad has been drinking Shakeology since last summer, just because he found out how good it was for you, and he drinks it ever since. And if someone asks him how he's lost weight, he'll tell them that as well. Also, share with them your challengers' testimonies, so that they can see exactly what it is and what you're doing and how you're impacting other people's lives. Because if they see that you're not just playing on Facebook and you're really making a difference to someone else, then it'll be a lot more understandable to them. Also, you can talk to them about the financial situation as well, but you don't have to feel obligated to do that, because obviously it's not everyone's business what kind of money you're making. But at the end of the day, if you're consistent with it and you stick with it, then they're going to see your success, and they're going to see how big of a difference Beachbody is making in your life and in your family's lives. Also, make sure that you're patient with your husband and your family. They may not understand, or they might not get it, but they will. So listen to their concerns and take them into consideration as well, and make sure that you address them. So if they have an issue and there's something that's concerning them about it, then talk to them about it. And if you don't know how to address it or need help with it, then let us know, because maybe one of us has already been through it. Does anyone have any questions, or any of you currently dealing with this and you don't know how to change it or how to answer their questions?
I'm going to go ahead and tag really fast while y'all talk about that, because I know I've been having several conversations with those that are having struggles. I will say that I am one who had a super skeptical spouse. In fact, I've been a coach for 3 years, and he still had no idea what I was doing until last week. I finally sat down and was like, listen, he knows some of it. Like, he'll come in and be like, what do those numbers mean? Well, you got more people up there now, and he was obviously one of my business centers, and he was like, am I diamond yet? And had no idea what he was talking about. But in the beginning, so you know how we talk about, which is what we're going to talk about next week, how a lot of times people sign their spouse up as one of their first discount coaches to really help them get to Emerald. I said, no, not happening. He wasn't doing it. He wanted absolutely nothing to be a part of this, would not at all. So I started in September. When I went to go qualify for Diamond, which wasn't until April of the following year, I needed one more coach, and I already had 2 coaches to make that person Emerald. So I finally at that point was like, honey, listen, I'm getting ready to rank advance. I'm going to be Diamond. Like, please, 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 can you do this for me and let me do it? So he finally, after he'd seen that I'd been consistent with it, whatever, finally let me sign him up. Still had nothing to do with it. Had no part, no questions, whatever. So then we got pregnant with Caleb, and T25 came out. And I wanted to do it, but obviously I was pregnant. So there's no way I could be a testimony for it right then and there. And he was all like, this doesn't work. Like, no one's going to get results from doing a 25-minute workout. Like, he was like, no, this is not doing it. So I made him take pictures, and I was like, all right, let's do it. He's like, if you'll do it right now, I'll do it with you. And I was like, okay. He thought it was so stupid for me to take pictures. He's like, I don't need to lose weight. I'm fine. And he really was. Like, he's one that hides his weight very well. So when he has clothes on, and even when he didn't, it didn't look like he needed to lose weight. But so we take his pictures. He's doing T25. We get to the 30-day mark, and I take those 30-day pictures, and I was like, sir, do you see these 2 pictures? And he was like, okay, now. And some of y'all have seen me post those pictures, but his beginning 30 and 60-day pictures are ridiculous. He lost 45 pounds. So then he was like, okay. But he still really doesn't or hasn't ever understood what we do as coaches until this year, when I really started focusing on building my team and working the business. And he knows kind of what my paychecks bring in, because he'll be like, how much did we make this week? Or what do we get to pay, for whatever. And so I'll tell him. But it wasn't until I sat down around the same time last week that I had the conversation with you guys about what I made this year and how I tripled it. And he's one that is very much like, he likes to see projections, progress, not like, he's very much a numbers person. And so I was like, I want you to look at this. I want you to see. And he went, okay, so what's the bare minimum? If you did this year, what would you do next year? And I was like, this is the bare minimum. And like, if I just did what I did this year, he knows the time. We've kind of set up a schedule where he knows tonight is my working night. So he'll put the kids to bed. I'll get baths ready and everything. And then, so we kind of have had to delegate, like, and it's because we sat down and I said, listen, this is our goals. We want to pay off debt. We want to buy a house. If that's what we're doing, like, I'm going to be doing everything I can to work towards that, which obviously he is too. But it was the fact that I sat down and went over my goals with him, and I asked for help. And so I was like, can you do this on specific nights? Or, I just kind of had to ask, in delegating. So we've got about 5 minutes left. And so I kind of want to talk about that. Like, what kind of objections are you guys facing so far from your spouses or from your families? Who wants to go first?
I'll talk real fast. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Mine has been kind of the same story. My husband didn't really know like what I was doing. Why are you on your Facebook and why are you on your phone? And then he actually just yesterday got a friend of his interested in 21 Day Fix. And so he was like asking me what to say and asking me what do I do. And I was telling him like, oh, he can even sign up as a coach for the discount. So now I think he's finally starting to realize, okay, for me to do one person, for me to, make a connection with one person, it takes this much time. And now I'm wanting to talk to, if I'm talking to 10 people, that's why I'm on my phone. That's why I'm on Facebook. And so I think that's part of it. But I'm also wanting to have him do a little bit more than that and have him post on Facebook, hey, here's my results. Because he's starting 21 Day Fix this week.
And so really, but it just took you sharing with him, what it was, specifically with what you were doing. And because you guys had the financial conversation this summer, didn't you? Where he said, if you can make this amount of money with it, then, when you have kids, you can stay home from teaching and, continue to do your Beachbody business. So who else?
I would say too, Megan, like as he like learns more about it, obviously something intrigued him to even have that conversation with his coworker. So obviously maybe something will intrigue him again. That's how Leon got started. Like I said, when he got his first paycheck, he was like, oh my gosh, I made $40-some. So hopefully your husband will be the same way and he'll get excited and start working the business as well.
Stick with it.
Yeah.
And you know what else I would suggest too is, y'all know I say it all the time, but YouTube is our best friend. There are so many calls. I just listened to another call prepping for this call tonight. And it was a call just of husbands of the coaches. And so listening to what the husbands had to say and, the objections that they had and where they were at now. So it was kind of cool to look at it from the perspective of them. But so use those. And quite honestly, y'all know that we have our quarterly meeting every 3 months. And so our next Super Saturday is October 17th. If you haven't already marked that in your calendar, make sure you do that so that you know when that is so that you guys can go. And for those of you new coaches who don't understand what that is, it's just one day every 3 months, and it's like 3 or 4 hours, and you get to go and you get to be around other coaches, and there's like a 45-minute training. And sometimes they'll have people from corporate. Sometimes you'll be lucky, like those of us in Dallas, and have the trainers come here. So it's just a really kind of like a small snippet of what Summit is like. And so, encourage them to come with you to that. And so that they can see kind of the atmosphere and, get to meet, because a lot of you are in the Kansas area. And so you'll get to be there with Jill and Leon. And so, the husbands can meet, Leon and see. And so that's a lot of what I've been taking from, a lot of the calls that I've been listening to is just, having them. Eric comes in here all the time. And I mean, sometimes he'll sit in here and listen to what's going on. But, getting them to see like we're actual people, we're in here really trying to work on bettering each other and bettering others. And so it's just really important to have that open line of communication. I have went down that road to where things were tough because and it's going to kick us off because we only have a minute left, but because I wasn't, saying this is what I need to, I wasn't setting my business hours, which is what I tell you guys to do all the time. And he's very quick to remind me because I had them written down on a whiteboard in our bathroom, and he'll be like, you said business hours only during such and such hours.